You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 61. I'm Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart.
All right. Now, Comic Reflections is a proud member of the Rhymes with Geek Comics Podcast Network. You can check out our show, and along with many others, at rhymeswithgeek.com. There's a lot of great shows on there, like Feed It Comics, Real Books Don't Have Batman, Apocalypse Later, and so on and so on.
Okay.
So, are you laughing at the name?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Yesterday was, November 2nd, was Steve Ditko's 86th birthday.
Oh.
Yes, and he is still living and still working.
Mm-hmm.
Not in mainstream comics, of course, but unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think pretty much all he does is, I think, his weird Ayn Rand objectivist stuff. But if it keeps the lights on and keeps him in good health, hey.
It pays the bills.
Yeah. So, but getting moving. Let's start with House of Secrets number 137. The lead story is called The Harder They Fall. And it's written by Carl Wessler with art by Ernie Chan.
One thing, you said 137. That's just amazing that there's 137 of these magazines. I hardly ever heard of them. I knew there were these type of magazines, but I didn't know it was this popular.
Yeah, DC's quote-unquote mystery books, they had a serious following. They were hit books. I mean, they're pale Comics Code era imitations of EC Comics. But occasionally, there's some pretty good stories, or the art is good if the story isn't.
Yeah.
So.
They lack a recurring characters except for the narrator.
Right, and Abel is the horror host for House of Secrets. Mm-hmm. And, of course, his brother Kane, the host of House of Mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice biblical reference there.
Yeah.
All right. The harder they fall. We have a rich man having these horrible nightmares of becoming destitute. And when he wakes up, we find out he's a real jerk. He wants to run for Senate. He treats his woman poorly. He, he kind of treats fellow businessmen badly. But he keeps having this recurring dream that he's going to fall. And his woman's going to kick him off. He's reaching up a ladder, and his woman's there, and she kicks him off. Which happens in real life, because she's actually a spy.
Oh, okay. Now, like a spy as a foreign agent, or a spy as an industrial espionage?
Spy.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember the story, really. So. Okay.
So, he gets kicked off, and it happens, he's happy because he doesn't have those bad dreams anymore.
Not a care in the world now that he's a bum.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. That's very Twilight Zone-ish.
Yeah, and that whole dream of reaching up a ladder or a staircase, that's really Freudian. I think it's pretty common. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, the next one is The Magic Elixir.
That's right, written by George Cashton with art by Ricardo Villamonte.
Charlie Whipple, snake oil salesman.
Oh, right.
Yeah, what a great name, snake oil. I wonder if there was actually stuff sold as snake oil.
Oh, from one of these traveling peddlers? I'm sure that the term snake oil is derived from somebody peddling somebody or something that was actually called that. But I don't know.
I don't know. He's running from the law, and the law, he gets to the county line, and the law says, the next county will take care of him, and they do, because they've discovered a secret to eternal life.
Or youth, yeah.
Yeah.
Youth or life or something like that, yeah.
And he's trying to get it, and he finds out they're vampires. So that's how they do it. So The end.
Yeah, and they kill him. But that reminds me of, I think it's a story from Tales from the Crypt. It's, the name of the story escapes me, and that
movie or comic or
the comic.
Excuse me.
I mean, it may have been adapted on the TV show. I don't know, but um, yeah, where like there's a whole town full of vampires, and it's actually a really classic story, and I'm just blanking on the name. Curse me!
Oh, okay.
But this next story, and I think it's the third and last story in this book.
And the best of the bunch.
Really? I'm glad somebody liked it. It was hard for me to. Let me just start with the title. It's called Suit of Lights. It's written by Robert Conagher, with art by Ruben Yanduk. And of course, Bob Conagher is best known for all his work on the DC War comics. Like Sergeant Rock, Haunted Tank, those things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He
wrote a lot of those comics.
Oh.
But this whole thing, the whole it's about a bullfighter or an aspiring bullfighter, and there's I guess I don't know how all the workings of bullfights, and so I was kind of lost.
Well, that's what the great thing about this is, that we look into a world we don't know. We all know about bullfighting, but we don't really know what they do, and they go into the details of the picadors. I'm probably mispronouncing it. But they goad the bull, and then the matador comes out and kills it, and they show a lot of detail about it, and it's kind of neat. And I actually learned something, which I usually don't.
So our central character, he is a picador, but he wants to be the matador because the matador gets all the glory,
right?
And he wants to kill off the matador and get his girl and become the matador, and he does.
He kills him. I'm not sure he gets the girl.
Well, yeah,
but here's a Twilight Zone, so he goes to the next big bullfight, and he comes out, and he's the bull. So.
Oh, weird. Yeah. Oh, the matador that he killed is now.
Because the matador was a wizard he killed.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So not bad.
Don't kill a wizard.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Okay.
I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of issues to talk about, and that I think are really fun. Talking about the Inferior Five, who are this humorous, a spoof on superheroes. And the first issue we're talking about is, well, their very first appearance in Showcase number 62. And the story is called The Coming of the Costumed Incompetents. And it's written by E. Nelson Bridwell, with art by Joe Orlando and Mike Esposito.
It's kind of brave for a comic book company to make fun of themselves, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, so we have the Inferior Five include Merry Man, who is a 97-pound weakling before he lost weight. The Blimp, he flies like a bird with the speed of a snail. Dumb Bunny, stronger than an ox and almost as intelligent. Awkward Man, more powerful than a locomotive, but always getting derailed. And the White Feather, the only bird who's chicken. Yeah. White Feather was a symbol of cowardice.
Yeah.
Okay, which is kind of cool.
And he's the archer of this group.
Yeah. In real life, Dumb Bunny is a dumb blonde. And, and I like dumb blondes for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
she's okay. I mean, as long as at least it's not the central. She's not the central figure.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm talking about real life, and this is fiction.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So now this story kind of details how the Inferior Five get together, and they're all the sons and daughters of. I can't remember what the group is in this, but it's basically
the Freedom Brigade,
which is basically a Justice Society or a Justice League type of group, and
that's
pretty cool.
And they were actually good.
Yeah,
Mr. Might's a great name, and the Bowman, Captain Swift, Lady Liberty, Patriot, Princess Power. Obvious who these people were.
Yeah, Mr. Might and the Mermaid. Awkward Man for example, is the son of Mr. Might and the Mermaid. So he's kind of like Superman, only he keeps tripping on like flippers that he wears all the time.
Oh, is that it? No, I thought he was just super clumsy, but he does have flippers. Okay. Yeah. They're kind of pathetic.
But they're not without their charm.
No, I kind of liked it. It's a fun It's really fun. Oh, here's an advertisement for Don't Hesitate. Choose the mags with go-go checks. And
Yeah, and in the Silver Age, in gosh, what year has this book come out?
60s, I think.
What does that say? 1964. Anyway, at some point in the 60s, DC decided at the top of all of their books they're going to put these go-go checks for who knows why, but they thought it would be eye-catching and like, oh, there we go, there's my DC book. That's hip happening stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really what the impetus behind that ploy was, but
I don't know. But
it's kind of infamous. Oh, the go-go checks.
Yeah,
you
really?
know, when people refer to them, it's usually like, oh, brother, like with an eye roll.
Right. And as well they should.
Yeah.
Oh,
there is a plot to this story, isn't there?
Yeah, but they're fighting against this cheapo evil doctor.
That's right. It's a mad scientist who lives in a junkyard, and all his inventions are basically made out of trash.
But they seem to work. So.
Yeah, he needs a ruby to power some death ray device so he can get into the big leagues of supervillainy. And so he creates this robot that out of like a couple of old bathtubs, a vacuum cleaner, and a radio.
Mm-hmm.
And it does work.
Yeah.
And it presumes to do battle with the Inferior Five. They're pretty evenly matched.
Actually, yeah. Oh, it's not. Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed. I read there was this Jack Kirby collection, very well done, beautifully printed, and it had the Fantastic Four spoof.
Oh, probably from Not Brand Ech.
Yeah, and it was I don't know. I thought this was funnier than that. I don't know why. And I said, "Oh boy, Jack Kirby did this, and it's really well drawn, but it's not funny." So
yeah, and the thing about humor comics is if they're funny, it's usually when they come out, if then.
In this era, anyway. There's some humor. No, I don't know. I love Peter Baggs, Buddy Bradley.
Oh yeah,
but is that humor or is that?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't laugh at hate comics though. I enjoy it.
Oh, there's a couple of times I laughed out loud, literally.
And I'm sure that there are those, but I feel like I find myself laughing out loud more at things that happen in Silver Age Superman stories or the dialogue in Silver Age Fantastic Four stuff. Because Ben Grimm will have really humorous dialogue.
Ben Grimm is the everyman.
Yeah.
And which is cool. It's a great character.
Absolutely. But the Inferior Five are they're pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they beat this goofy supervillain, but mad scientist.
Did you worry?
Well, with these guys, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And they only had their own title for, I want to say, 11 or 12 issues.
Really?
And even the last 2 issues just reprint their first 2 appearances from Showcase. So they were short-lived, but fondly remembered. Kind of like Angel and the Ape. Although I know you said you don't like that. I have no opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. It was okay, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a letter in one of these saying, well, you're so popular, and I guess it was in a anthology or part of another magazine.
Well, they appeared in Showcase for 2 issues, and that was the tryout book.
So, hey, it's so popular, we'll make a whole magazine over. And I guess it didn't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I want to say that DC was either operating on a bi-monthly schedule, so, I mean, their own book lasted for maybe a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the next one we've got is Inferior Five #1, the first issue of their own book, and the story is called Five Characters in Search of a Plot, which is a Twilight Zone episode. It's 5 characters in search of an exit. Remember the dolls in the bottom of the barrel?
Oh. I thought there was another play with that. I thought there was a 5 characters in search of something. Okay, I was going to look it up, but I didn't. So
that's okay.
I'll leave it to the Googlers out there.
Yeah. E. Nelson Bridwell wrote this again. and then art by Mike Sikowski and Mike Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
And this issue is great because they spoof all the acronymed spy type of things that were happening in the 60s. They spoof The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Thunder Agents, which is really great.
And Playboy.
Yeah.
Which is interesting in a kid's thing.
Well, right. I think Dumb Bunny is supposed to do some figure modeling for, they don't call it that. It's like, they call it like
They call it Payboy.
Payboy, that's right.
But
she doesn't end up doing it, I don't think. But
yeah. And this amused me. There's this artist who's painting Dumb Bunny, and he's saying, "I really don't know how to draw. I just like to have the models and draw."
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And he looks like a typical beatnik kind of character, which is a pretty common stock character at this time, especially in a humor book. You'll see that same scenario played out in Bob Hope's comic book and then Jerry Lewis as well.
Which has an advertisement in here as well.
Well, it's probably had a crossover audience with this title.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the group that's like Uncle that's that they refer to in this book? It's the spoof. I think it's like Cousin Charlie or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the villains of the piece are from Hurricane, and it's an acronym for something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great because they spoof every one of those characters really well. I mean, from Uncle, they've got Napoleon Solo and Ilya, just nailed.
Right, and the head guy.
And Leo J. Carroll, yeah.
Yeah. And their heads are huge, so they can draw them well.
It's
kind of interesting why they do that.
Yeah. We also learned that Merryman's uncle or grandfather or somebody was this guy, the Yellow Jacket, who is basically the Green Hornet.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. He has the psychic and everything. And the spoof of the Thunder Agents is great because they've got, what are the names?
You're talking about the Hurricanes?
Yeah.
We have Tabby Cats, Nitro Gleason, Crabgrass, Blackbird, the Yellow Streak, who's a coward. Mr. Mental has ESP powers, but he's absent-minded. And we have the Missing Fink. And who's that? Powerhouse.
Now, Powerhouse is a spoof of Dynamo. The Missing Fink, a spoof of No Man. Mr. Mental, of course, is Menthor. The Yellow Streak being Lightning. Blackbird is of the Raven. And then these other characters, Tabby Cats is of Kitty Kane. And Crabgrass of Weed, another supporting character in Thunder Agent. So I thought I got such a great kick out of this because I love those characters so much.
I have not read Thundercats, so I have no idea.
Thundercats
or whatever.
Thunder Agents.
Thunder Agents.
You know what?
I know what Thundercats.
Yeah, that's a different group.
Yeah,
but I will. I'll have to lend you something to kind of prep you because we will have a couple issues of Thunder Agents to talk about on the show later on. And if I'd have known this was coming up, it was just a little too soon. I would have lent that to you earlier, so you kind of appreciate some of those gags.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I think I got them.
Yeah, so. It did get me to break down and watch The Man from U.N.C.L.E. for the first time, which is a cool show.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Kind of yeah. Well, it's just clever trap they're in, an acid vat with piranhas, excuse me, and dynamite and electricity, and they
all the cliches of Bond or Batman TV show villains, like those kinds of impossible traps.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fight with the Inferior Five and the agents of Hurricane.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh yeah,
well done.
It's really
Dumb
fun.
Bunny uses hits
Kitty Kane
with a human, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And wonder why.
I love how
done that before.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. Yeah. It's just interesting that there's a Jerry Lewis and I can't find the advertisement now, but Jerry Lewis and Bob Hope are we're in comic books.
Yeah. So there's a house ad for that. Is that what you're referring to?
Somewhere I can't find that, but that's okay. Um,
What about it though?
I don't know. It's sort of like I was so shocked. I knew
Was
about
this
this
what it
before.
is?
Maybe
Here it is.
Yeah, and man, they don't look funny at all. But there's this character, Super Hip,
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
which is kind of a teen rock and roll character that was in the Bob Hope series. I've read an issue or two of the Bob Hope book. I've read an issue or two of the Jerry Lewis.
Hmm.
If you're just looking for silliness, it works. I mean, I didn't laugh at them.
Yeah. I think Jerry Lewis is a great talent. His work with Dean Martin is wonderful and funny. I think by himself, he doesn't know when to quit. His jokes go on just a little too long, and they get...
Well, the beauty of Martin and Lewis as a team was Jerry can get his goofball stuff in, and before you can get sick of it, here comes Dean being like the straight man, being handsome, singing a song, you know, and the back and forth, you can never get it. You don't have time to get sick of the other, and you get this wonderful it's like chocolate and peanut butter.
Right.
It's like awesome. It's just you can't get enough of Martin and Lewis together. Mm-hmm. Just like chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
But
they are funny, and oh man.
I watched Martin and Lewis for the first time. I mean, in a movie. I mean, of course, I've seen clips and things recently, and it was Artists and Models, and
that's a goodie.
And it's about comic books, or that's certainly a part of the plot. Jerry Lewis loves comic books in the movie, when in real life, Dean Martin was the guy who loved comics.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Well, it's like Dean Martin. He's the work of great artists is not to show that it is hard work, and he worked hard, but he made it look easy, and that works in movies. I'm not sure about
Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra seem to have that quality. Like whenever they just walk into a room and start singing something, they make it look completely effortless because they just sing songs however the hell they wanted to sing them, and it just sounded great.
Right. But it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of hard work, not showing it's a lot of hard work. And it's just well done. And I like Dean. And
I mean, Dino, he just seems like the smoothest character ever because he just walks up to every girl in the movie, and I'll sing you a song, you're beautiful, whatever. I can't sing like Dino, and then he gets the girl like every time.
Right. Yeah. And he was in those
spy
films too.
I
want to say Matlock, but that's wrong. He was in these.
I know he's in Cannonball Run.
Yeah, he's in these spy films in the '60s. His spoof. And
Dean Martin?
Yes.
I remember the Our Man Flint movies, but that's not Dean similar. Martin. That's James Coburn, right?
James Coburn, but there was another one too, and
really, I had no idea about this.
And Bob Hope's earlier work is wonderful. His earlier movies in black and white are great. He gets old hat.
Now, was it one of those instances like him and Danny Kaye? That's the winning combination.
Oh, he was with Bing Crosby.
Oh, that's right.
Very much like the Martin Lewis because they're very dissimilar. And Woody Allen copied a lot from Bob Hope, and Woody Allen said he has. So,
fair enough.
The sex craved coward. It's a wonderful character.
Okay.
All right.
Speaking of comedy,
yes.
Let's moving on. We've got the Joker, number 4, and the story is A Gold Star for the Joker, and it's written by Elliot S. Maggin with art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Vince Colletta. And in this story, the Joker heads to Star City and pits himself against the Green Arrow.
Yeah, and Black Canary.
That's right.
Who's in mufti here.
Yes. She frequently is.
She runs a flower shop.
Yeah.
And does he know she's Black Canary, or is this a...
coincidence, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows anybody's secret ID. But in disguise as a bus driver, he comes to Star City, and he thinks he buys some flowers from Dinah Lance and then gives them to her. And I can't remember what he's about in this.
There's a star over the bridge, and he's going to steal the star, and everyone thinks it's some kooky Joker thing, but he's actually stealing it so the authorities can find it again. But the star they find is going to be a bomb.
Oh,
and
okay.
then the bomb's going to go off, and he's going to be able to rob a bank. So it's kind of convoluted, and
he could have just tried to rob the bank. Oh, but it's a diversion, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the cops cannot use the bridge because it's blown up.
Oh, well, that's actually a pretty smart plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll attribute that more to Elliot S. Maggin than the Joker, though.
What?
The writer.
Oh,
the
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
But Green Arrow quickly gets wind of the Joker's plan.
Yeah. The S has a Elliot S
With
exclamation point. That's
why not?
Yeah, no. Yeah, indeed. I want to start doing that with my name.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not bad. Man, the Joker's Jokermobile has his license plate saying Joker, which I found amusing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it'd be great, but it's not. I like the Joker. Wow, Joker's got his own mag, and it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't work.
Yeah, and this book only lasted, I think, like 9 or 10 issues.
Yeah, I've read another one as well. And,
I've read a few, and really, none of the ones I've read have been any great shakes. I think I read one with him and Catwoman, blah. I read one with him and the Creeper that was okay. I read one with him and the Scarecrow that was okay.
Yeah, I read one with him in a RV. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I read that one too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you put Joker in his own book, and you don't have Batman in it. There's no teeth to it. You know, there's something about that series that's just it's a neutered Joker, and he's still killing people, but it's not the evilness, the dark aspect of him is not there because it's not in Gotham City. It's I don't know.
Can it be done? I think you could do a Joker series, but at the time you cannot let the Joker win. So that's kind of a...
Well, right.
So the protagonist of the series is going to lose at the end, which I kind of like myself. I mean, we get that later on the Invaders.
But can you really have a monthly book where you go to jail every issue and get out? That seems a little far-fetched. I mean, the beauty of a great villain is they're not in every issue of the book they normally come in, and so it's a big deal when they show up. They're like, yes, the Joker, or so-and-so, yes, the Red Skull. It's supposed to have impact, and I think having his own book takes that away.
Yeah, I don't. I think you can do it, but the writing is not up to par.
Yeah,
it's not interesting. His idea was kind of stupid.
Yeah,
and he's just acting crazy and for no. I mean, usually Joker is crazy, but he has a crazy logic, and this is just meh.
Yeah. Now, there was, and I think a more successful and a better series that I think we'll get to take a little bit of a look at that is also a villain-centric title. And it was, at Marvel, a supervillain team-up. And it started out, it was Dr. Doom and the Submariner. And
oh, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then as the series goes on, it kind of fades, Namor fades out of the picture, and the Red Skull, it's the Red Skull and Dr. Doom. Mm-hmm. And then I think the last couple issues, it's Dr. Doom and Magneto. And that kind of works because Dr. Doom is a leader of his own country, and
Namor is a king of the sea. Or whatever.
Yeah, and I think when you've got a pair of... hang on a sec. So what about supervillains? Like, supervillains you haven't seen in the movies yet.
Oh.
That you'd like to.
Let's see. I would like to see Wonder Woman and Master Man. I think that would be cool. So,
Master Man from the Invaders?
Yeah. No, not Wonder Woman.
Warrior
Woman, excuse me. Okay. Villains.
If they'd have to make an Invaders movie, but that would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Or if they did another Captain America that was set in World War II, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of anybody. Oh, well, I can think of one that you want, but
Brainiac.
exactly.
I knew you would say
Yeah.
that. I want to see Brainiac. I'd actually really love to see a lot of Superman's villains, like Bizarro, Metallo.
Bizarro, yes.
Bizarro, Metallo. I mean, a non-silly Bizarro.
Uh huh.
Metallo.
Oh,
The Parasite would be
give
cool.
me silly Bizarro. I prefer silly Bizarro.
I don't know if it'll happen in a movie these days. I mean, look at the tone of recent
I
superhero movies.
know.
But
Boo.
oh, but they're trying to stay away from camp, and I think Bizarro silly would be camp. But I'd love to see Doctor Doom done correctly.
Yes, I agree with that.
And
oh yeah, he was kind of meh. And
I'd love to see Kang the Conqueror. That's what I want for Avengers 3.
Abomination.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, he's been done.
Has he?
He's in that Incredible Hulk.
I have not
that
seen
second
that.
one. Well,
sorry,
you need to see it.
I guess I do. Man, the first one kind of.
Now the look is not true to the comics, but I was just so happy that he was in it.
Oh, okay. Mendigo.
I'd like to see the leader.
Maybe.
They set it up for him to be in a Hulk movie, but they didn't fulfill that promise. But in Spider-Man, the villain I'd love to see the most would be the Scorpion.
Yeah, I liked. Oh.
And Baron Zemo in Captain America. That would be cool.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? The crocodile, or the
Killer Croc for Batman?
Croc. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Or Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because they've really since we're basically rebooting with Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they do have some new Batman solo movies, and
I hope
not?
They don't mess up. I'm kind of worried.
I'm not.
I'm
actually.
also looking forward to what was it? Superman Returns. Yay, Superman Returns. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we've learned from the mistakes of the past. I mean, Man of Steel was very good.
Yep.
So.
But they haven't done the Joker right yet. Just kidding. Although I do like the original. For crying out loud, Cesar Romero's. I think that he is the perfect Joker.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of silly. But
if you take his interpretation and make him the mass murderer that he is, absolutely, that's a great Joker. Because I think of Mark Hamill's Joker on the animated series. He's doing the extremely evil version of Cesar Romero, and it works really well.
Man,
yeah. But I think I was saying anyway. I was getting back to the supervillain team up book. I think that worked well enough because Doom and Namor are such dynamic and interesting characters, especially they're teaming up or pitting them against each other. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then having the Red Skull against Doom, that's always interesting. The series I think still only lasted like 17 issues, even then. But I don't know. It's hard to do a villain solo book.
That'd be a great idea for someone to do, a villain book where the villain wins. And I don't know, would that be interesting, or would people?
I'm trying to think. DC did it in a couple other villain books too. They had Cobra, who was the leader of the terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. I think we read a story with him in it once. He had his own book for I think 9 or 13 issues, not real long. And then there was The Secret Society of Supervillains, which is another book that lasted into its teens, and it had a lot of the Flash villains, Gorilla Grodd and Captain Cold and stuff, and the Wizard and Star Sapphire, and just a bunch of supervillains together, and it's kind of cool. And we'll take a look at that series later on as well. Not today, but I mean.
Oh, okay.
But,
all right.
But so anyway, moving on to we've got some more issues of the Invaders, and the first one we've got is number 22. The story is called "The Fire That Died." It's written by Roy Thomas with art by Jim Mooney and Frank Springer.
Yeah,
nice change of pace to see Jim Mooney on this book. Of course, you'll recall him from the Silver Age, doing primarily Supergirl stories. And I think he did some Legion of Superheroes stuff as well. Okay.
I'm still amazed that Union Jack is fighting. He
This guy's definitely over 60.
Yeah, and he's in wheelchair. Or is he in the wheelchair now? I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair now.
And he's jumping from planes for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, but Toro's sick, or was shot by a Nazi bullet in the chest.
Yeah.
And they're worried about him. So, flashback time.
Oh, now that's right. Now we get the origin of Toro. And the official story previously would have been he was a fire eater at a circus, and somehow being around the Human Torch gave him fire powers too.
Yeah.
But we learn through a kind of a long, lengthy, drawn-out thing that he's a mutant and that he had these latent fire abilities inborn.
Right.
And then just the Human Torch meeting him and being in close contact allowed them to come into fruition fully.
Yeah.
So.
No. In comes this villainess, who's pretty cool.
Lady Asbestos.
Yeah, and asbestos at that time was super cool, great new thing, and now it's kind of discredited, but...
Well, right, I mean, it gives people horrible lung problems.
Right.
But it was, right, I mean, for a long time people thought this is the greatest because it's flame-proof.
Mm-hmm. And she's pretty cool. Nice, villainous, evil, clever woman. We got a letter here from a guy who speaks German and complaining about the German and the invaders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a lot of...
What's the name of the guy?
Oh, Dwight Decker.
Oh, okay. Sometimes there's, sometimes we get letters from future comic creators.
Yeah. Frau Ratzel is warrior woman, but Frau means married. It's Mrs. So she's apparently already married, but...
Right.
Yeah, a couple other things, but...
I do notice that sometimes when German gets used in comic books, it's very clumsy and not too correct.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I mean, the word will be right, but it won't make sense in the sentence they'll use, that kind of thing.
Right. And, yeah, they don't use proper...
the syntax is
plural,
off.
Plural, the plurals are wrong a lot of times. So...
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But
Lady Asbestos, she was blackmailing Toro's adopted parents, or his birth parents, excuse me, because the father was a expert on asbestos or something, right?
Right.
And I can't remember what she wanted from him, but she wanted...
She wanted information on asbestos to make it a better asbestos.
I guess.
So, I don't know, she treats her minions meanly, and I don't know, just a kind of a cool character.
Yeah.
Definitely not a dumb blonde.
Although it's art's by Jim Mooney, whenever the asbestos lady is shown, it looks very Wally Wood-esque.
Oh, I agree.
She definitely looks from the school of Wally Wood.
Okay.
But an interesting issue. We just get some background on Toro, which is almost pointless because in the next issue, spoilers, Bucky and Toro are basically written out of the series.
Yeah, I do not like the kid characters usually. And this sort of...
Toro is so boring. I mean, Bucky's okay.
Yeah, they're always just okay. And they just sort of... I mean, the only kid character I like is Jimmy Olsen. And Jimmy Olsen
but he's an adult. He is an adult.
Is he?
He's a young adult. But...
I don't know. He's 20 going on 8. Something. But he's great. I don't know why they think that, we got to get something for the kids and for them to identify with.
It's a misconception of an adult thinking, a kid will love this. Let's put a kid in it, that'll make it better for, kids will want to read it. And I don't think there's any real correlation.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't have anything to do with mirroring or role-playing, which is a thing that we do in a grow up. You identify with an adult figure that you think is appealing in some way. And prone to that. You don't identify with a kid character.
Yeah. I want to be Hulk's kid buddy. Yeah. No one says that.
Yeah. Well, no, when they have a teen friend, like Rick Jones is okay. Snapper Carr is okay.
But Sidekicks, Robin... I don't know. Robin actually does stuff. So, but even Robin, I could do without Robin, and Batman apparently can too.
Yeah, I mean, and I think of a lot of the teen sidekicks. I mean, the Crimson Avenger had Wing. Um, Sandman had Sandy. That one is just really lame. I mean,
Oh boy.
um,
Oh, and yeah, it's the Kid Commandos.
oh yeah, that's sorry. Sorry,
Weren't they? Wasn't there another Kid Commandos? I'm not thinking about.
you're thinking the Boy
The
Commandos,
Boy
which is a
Commando.
Jack Kirby creation over at DC in the 40s, and I don't like the Boy Commandos.
Neither do I.
I thought it's a group an international group of kids that go and form this squadron that fights in World War II.
It's not
And
international. It's a bunch of American kids. You
no,
have
there's a Dutch kid, an English kid, like I think
Was
there's
there?
one or two American kids. Yeah, I've read several stories with these, and I'm like, they stink.
I thought there was a. Oh, maybe I think about something else. There's like the East End kids, and one guy's
You're getting.
short with really gruff. And
I'll stop you right there. You're getting two things mixed up.
Why am I getting mixed up?
You're getting the Boy Commandos mixed up with the Newsboy Legion.
That's
I
it.
actually really love the Newsboy Legion.
Okay.
They are great. There's, and I'm going to forget all the names of the Newsboy Legion right now. But the great thing about they were the central characters, and then they had their neighborhood superhero, the Guardian, who would be a part of their adventures, and he was also the neighborhood beat cop.
Right.
I love that. That's a concept I love. That I think is great, and that's a great way to have kids. And it's not the only thing that was done. The Golden Age Daredevil from Lev Gleason comics. He had a group of kids that kind of became his sidekicks and hangers-on. And of course, I'm going to blank on what they were called right now. Dang it. But a similar concept. And then they actually eventually took over the book. The Little Wise Guys. They actually eventually took over the book, and Daredevil was not to be seen again, which sucks.
Oh.
But the Newsboy Legion, I love them.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is all started by Conan Doyle, as in the Baker Street Irregulars for Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yes.
I think that might be the first time in history that a group of kids were actually solving crimes.
Sure. And I'm sure they were inspiration for Leo Gorcey and Hunt's Hall in the Dead End Kids.
Right. Which is
in
a
the
good
movies.
movie, The Dead End. I think it's called Dead End. And the kids in there, Humphrey Bogart, which is always worth watching, and the Dead End kids were there, but then they said, oh, these kids are great, so we'll make a series of movies with them.
Yeah, they had one where they met Bela Lugosi, I know that, and yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, on to Invaders number 28, and the story is Calling the Kid Commandos, written by Roy Thomas, art by Frank Robbins and Frank Springer.
So, we have Agent Axis, who is 3 axes in 1.
Yeah, he's an Italian, a German, and a Japanese guy fused into one person. And so he has schizophrenia, but he also is 3 times as strong, smart, and fast as a regular person, which is cool. I like that. And he's able to, go to toe-to-toe with Captain America, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Do you like the Kid Commandos? I don't know.
Nope. The Golden Girl and what's the kid? The Whirling something or other?
The Whirling Dervish or something. Human Top?
I think that's what it is, the Human Top. But this story does center around something that's pretty shameful in American history, and that's the Japanese internment camps within the United States, where thousands of Japanese Americans were basically all of their property and things were taken away from them, and they're put in camps for the duration of World War II. The fear was that they would be, fifth columnists or secret agents for the Axis.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's understandable with Pearl Harbor and all that. And I'm sure there were some Japanese spies. Actually, there were. But to put the whole population in camp was stupid and evil. It's worse than a crime. It's a blunder, which is one of the.
I would say it's worse than a blunder. It's a crime, but.
I'm just quoting somebody on Napoleon.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. But they couldn't put all the Germans in camps because there was too many of them. It's probably about a third. I don't know. fifth or fourth of the population
Yeah.
is German descent.
Yeah, and I think we
And
talked about
Italians the same way.
sure. We did talk about the German Bund movement, and then there were
Mhm.
German fifth columnists in the States, but I think that was nipped pretty early on, I
Yeah.
think, right?
No pun intended.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Actually, the Nazi spies were pretty, I don't know, pretty ineffectual, just like in the comics, because
Hey,
they
all
kept
right.
getting caught.
Is it art imitating life, you think?
Maybe so. Oh, so um, Agent Axis has beaten every one of the major characters. And
Even Namor?
yeah, he didn't beat him, but he escaped from him, which is just as bad. And it's kind of cool. I like seeing heroes fail. It makes it interesting. When they win all the time, it gets boring. When they fail, wow!
If they can
failed.
if they can have setbacks or not win every time, or the bad guy got away, that is good. It makes the hero more interesting. You're right. And boy, Captain America is great. He's kicking all kinds of butt, as he should. He's the best butt kicker around. Like, he's my favorite. Like, who do you want to see, get beaten up? If you want to see somebody get beat up, who do you want to see beat him up? Captain America.
Yeah.
What's better than Captain America socking Hitler in the jaw?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh man. Oh, it's kind of cool. So we have the kid commandos with their new suits, which look stupid, by the way.
Yeah, they are. But it doesn't matter. It's just a way to, these two kids, the Golden Girl and the Human Top, they get superpowers and they decide, hey, Bucky and Toro and them are going to stay and fight the Axis on the home front. And it's a perfect excuse to write them out of the book.
Yeah, which is probably good. Do they make an old comic book for these people?
Nope.
They don't?
Nope.
I'll be darned.
Well, they didn't spin off the Liberty Legion into their own book, and that was rad.
Yeah.
They made there is one other story arc that has the Liberty Legion in this series, which unfortunately we don't have.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of cool. They get attacked by Agent Axis because they go back into the camp for the Japanese people, and they get out because they fight against Agent Axis and almost beat him. So they say, "Oh, you must be okay." But Agent Axis wasn't Agent Axis; it was Namor, cleverly disguised.
Like, they had beaten him already,
Mm-hmm.
and Namor. I can't remember why Namor disguised himself as Agent Axis.
So to make them the kid commandos look tough.
Oh, right, in front of the U.S. servicemen.
Right.
Right. Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, Twinkie alert! Twinkie alert!
Okay.
Thor meets a glutton for gold. Oh, Gudrun, the Golden, is stealing the gold from
Asgard or something.
Asgard, yeah. And so instead of gold, Thor sets out golden Twinkies, and you see that Thor has taken a bite out of Twinkie. So
all right, they must have lifted the ban on the hero eating Twinkies at this
or
point.
something, yeah. What's
Yeah.
up with that? That'd make a nice doctoral dissertation for somebody.
Somebody's like, why didn't the superheroes originally eat the Twinkies?
The whole thing would be an interesting little. Make a nice long article about it.
Oh, I would like to write that article.
Mm-hmm.
So, but moving on, we've got Invaders number 29. Hey, 2 issues in a row.
Yeah.
And the story is Attack of the Teutonic Knight. Don Glut has taken over as the writer of the series, and he will finish it. Roy Thomas is strictly the editor from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan Kupperberg and Frank Springer on art for this issue.
Yeah.
I like Alan Kupperberg's pencils. They're good.
Yeah. Actually, this is where everyone gets their butt kicked by Komtor, the Teutonic Knight.
That's right. They all... Okay, now, first of all, I have to say, this is great because... the kids are out of the picture.
Yay.
And so there's a new Union Jack who was originally the Destroyer. Uh-huh. He is also related to Lord Falsworth and Jacqueline, who is Spitfire. And so they are now the central figures, at least for the time being, along with Cap and Namor and the Human Torch. But they one by one, they encounter, they kind of tell in flashback how they all met this villain, the Teutonic Knight, who is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he, what does he say? He thinks he's like the resurrection or
the Teutonic Knights.
Yeah, from a long time ago in history. I can't remember.
Yeah. Alexander Nevsky was a movie made about the Teutonic Knights' invasion of Russia, and it's a wonderful film by Eisenstein, and it's worth watching. It's silent though.
Oh, okay.
But it's for about 5 years, the Soviet Union made really wonderful movies, and then I don't know. There's still a few.
Oh, it's a Soviet movie?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I like some silent movies. I mean, Metropolis, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Those are good pictures.
The General is one of the funniest movies ever made, sound or no sound.
Okay.
It is wonderful.
I'm unfamiliar.
Oh. Well, it's great.
Okay.
So, Buster Keaton is a genius.
Oh, Buster Keaton. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, Captain America fought the Teutonic Knight. Namor fought the Teutonic Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Oh,
just about everybody of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he has stolen these plans for this flying saucer with a big swastika.
Mm-hmm.
Or
well, the cannon's coming out. Yeah, it's so that was the entire plan. He was getting the plans and the minerals to make this flying saucer.
Yeah.
But it's not a flying saucer until it has a swastika on the top of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we don't have the next part of that. But
no.
You can imagine what happens.
Right.
Invaders number 34, He Who Destroys. Written by Don Glutt, with art by Alan Kupperberg and Frank Springer. And somebody is impersonating the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Well, because we know that the Destroyer has now become Union Jack.
Right.
And someone is, in the guise of the Destroyer, is basically being a Nazi and discrediting this noble hero.
Right. Oh, yep, and that's about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the invaders set out to find out who this guy is and stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get in contact with him, they find out it's Master Man in disguise.
Yeah, he's a kind of a cool character.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I like Master Man. He's pretty cool. He's a nice villain.
Yeah, what a sweet guy.
Yeah, Warrior Woman's kind of, I don't know. I like to see more of him. He's kind of dumb, though.
Yeah, he is, but he's a Nazi Captain America. That's what he is. So, yeah. I mean, you know what he's like? He's like Captain Nazi from the Captain Marvel comics.
Oh. Yeah.
He's just like Captain Nazi.
Yeah.
Well, only dumber. Because
Really?
I think the Captain Nazi was a little smarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have we had a advertisement earlier on with DC Comics with the Joker with the Milk Duds.
Yeah.
But here we have Doctor Doom, and it's not as funny.
Well, yeah. They had the super sweepstakes that I think Mars Incorporated approached Marvel and DC, to get involved and give away and have prizes, for buying your Zagnut bar or your Clark bar.
Or Milk Duds.
Yeah.
Which I never have liked. But
No?
No.
They're fine. I mean, I like thinner caramel, like in a Twix, because you get other stuff. If it's just a big lump of caramel with chocolate on the outside, I like Milk Duds, but usually I end up just swallowing them.
Yeah. But, yeah. The Joker one was funny. And this one's kind of, it could have been funny. I was like, man, it's Doctor Doom, yay! Oh, it's not that good.
Well, Doctor Doom isn't supposed to be funny. The Joker is at least a clown.
I know, but it could have been funny done by Doctor Doom and being totally serious.
Right.
But it wasn't. So.
Okay.
Oh, well. So.
But Union Jack is fighting Master Man, and it's rad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of a neat. Oh, nice. Focke-Wulf 190. It's a German airplane. I like stuff drawn correctly.
Yeah.
And the German soldiers are with Mastermind say, "Let's get out of here," and they run, and Mastermind gets mad and chases after them, and that's
Now, is Master Man captured?
No.
No?
He makes
He gets away.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. And it turns out Brian, who was the original destroyer, he had a brother who was also a prisoner of the Nazis, and he's going to become the new destroyer. And that's kind of how we wrap up the end of the issue, when everybody's all happy at the end, back at Fallsworth Manor or whatever. So we've got one more issue of the Invaders, and I think it's the second to the last issue of the series.
Really?
It ran for 41 issues, and this is number 40. The story is V is for Vampire, written by Don Glutt, and art by Alan Kupperberg and Chick Stone. Yeah. The Return of Baron Blood.
Yeah, here he's working for the Japanese, and the Japanese do not make as good villains as Nazis. And the thing is, when you're in a movie and you got bad guys, if they're unknown villains, you have to make them villainous. You have to do villainy things.
Yeah.
So, they're bad guys. But Nazis, you can kill them off horribly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They already are. Just by putting on a swastika, you know they're bad. So.
Right. The Rising Sun doesn't quite work as well.
Yeah, plus you got to worry about being a racist to them. Although
right.
The Japanese army was utterly vicious and raping Nanking.
Well, and let's not forget the bridge on the River Kwai. The building of that bridge, millions of people died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the movie...
Or hundreds of thousands, I can't remember, but many.
Might have been millions.
It probably was millions. I did watch a documentary about it, and many British POWs, but also Burmese people, just peasants, and then just buried in nameless mass graves.
The movie was wonderful, but it kind of sugarcoated it.
Oh, big time. It's not historically accurate.
But it's a wonderful movie. Joe Bob says, check it out.
Okay. Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a college professor, too?
Indeed he is.
So is Peter Weller, RoboCop.
Oh.
He's like a professor of anthropology.
Oh, they remade RoboCop. Or are they? Is it out yet?
It hasn't come out yet, but it's been remade, yeah.
Oh, you know it's going to blow.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see it.
The first one was great.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the best movies ever.
Oh, saw Ender's Game.
Oh, did you?
And it was a fairly intellectually challenging movie. If you have read the book or not read the book, I recommend it.
Okay. Was it as homophobic as Orson Scott Card is?
No.
Okay. Because a lot of people are like, don't see the movie because Orson Scott Card is a homophobe. I'm like,
yeah, not that it matters because he's not getting any money from it. He sold the rights long ago.
Well,
so
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly. So just be entertained. It's like, Frank Miller has said some awful racist things, but I still like to read The Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone has said horrible things, and 20 years from now, the things we think are nice or
acceptable
or not going to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if a person is a jerk and treating people badly, that says more than what people say. And people will say something off the top of their head they shouldn't, and I know I have. And
sure.
And so I'm not really...
Especially if you're a public figure like, anybody who's creative, and has with a following, it happens.
Right.
So,
let's see. Saw the advertisement for Hobbit and 47 Ronin, which ties into this. So, 47 Ronin is an ancient, fairly old Japanese story about these 47 Ronin who were working for their for Japanese warlord, and the Japanese warlord is killed. So these 47 men became Ronin, who are leaderless men. So they get revenge, and they go through all kinds of adventures and get revenge and win, and then they commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
That's so what does Hollywood do? 47 Ronin with
Keanu Reeves, who I will not be seeing it for that very reason.
And it's got dragons and spirits and all kinds.
So you saw the trailer?
Yeah.
I
was, I don't know. Trailers are tricky things.
Yeah. All right. I mean, sometimes there are underwhelming trailers. A lot of times the people rush to get a trailer out before the movie's done, and so a lot of the big things that would be like great, like the money shot in a trailer, isn't there.
Yeah. or all the good stuff in the movie is in the trailer, and so especially this is bad for
Comedies.
comedies.
Oh yeah, they're extremely
I,
guilty of
I
that.
was so disappointed with the Blues Brothers, the greatest preview ever known, but all the jokes were in the preview.
Yeah, I think you talked about that last week.
Yeah,
But
did I? Yeah.
yeah,
The music when the Blues Brothers are not singing is wonderful.
I even like when they're playing.
I'm not that,
But
they're okay.
I think I like the movie more than you do. So
Most people do.
yeah.
Um,
But anyway, back to this story.
yeah.
And the Wizard and Miss America from the Liberty Legion are now joining up with Namor and the Torch and Captain America,
Mhm.
as they did in the Golden Age, the late 40s. They had the team, the All Winners Squad, which was a post-war superhero team that lasted not long because the superhero trend was over in 1948.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
But there's also a renegade Atlantean, U-Man, who is working for the Japanese.
Oh, yeah. And Lady Lotus.
Yeah.
Dragon lady type character.
Oh, yeah.
Which is considered racist now. But
Yeah.
But the last Empress of China was kind of a dragon lady, and she's the original one, and yeah, she was evil. And,
Okay.
Oh.
But she's got Baron Blood under her thumb,
Mhm.
and U-Man. So she's got a couple of great super agents to try and thwart the invaders with. But I think they've got more power than the two of those guys can muster. Especially because U-Man doesn't do anything in this issue.
Yeah, except be mad.
Yeah, but Baron Blood has to fight the Wizard and Miss America and everybody else.
Yeah, he does pretty good.
He does. He is quite a formidable villain, even
Yeah.
though he's just a vampire.
Yeah.
I think they have more against regular humans. Vampires are, wow, that's very formidable. You've got a lot of powers.
Mhm.
But against guys who can fly and have super strength and stuff, a vampire, bah. But
Yeah, you would think.
and yet he always gives the invaders a serious fight,
Indeed. Oh, they use a cross.
a fiery cross.
Right. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but reinforcements are coming. Here comes Master Man and Warrior Woman.
So it'll be Master Man, Warrior Woman, Baron Blood, and U-Man for the double-sized finale of the series against the invaders.
Mm.
Now that is an issue that I would love to read.
Beautiful but deadly Warrior Woman. I don't know. And handsome and quite powerful Master Man. Okay.
Hey, it's
They're not that bad looking, I guess. No, they're better looking than the Abomination, I suppose.
oh yeah.
Oh.
So the next book we've got to talk about, it's Iron Fist #2. He had a handful of appearances in Marvel Premiere before being spun off into his own book.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, the earliest collaboration between Chris Claremont and John Byrne, who wrote and illustrated this issue. And in just a couple short years, they would be the dynamic and famous or infamous creative team on the Uncanny X-Men. And probably arguably the best X-Men stories created were put out with that team.
Yeah.
And Claremont wrote the X-Men for like 16 years, which is
gracious.
incredibly long run.
I wonder if that's the longest run.
It might be a record. I think, yeah.
A lot in the latter part of the 20th century, things changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just look from the 50s to 60s to 70s and 80s, no, I mean, it's a sea change every decade,
Sure.
or maybe half decade.
Sure.
Yeah. This one's named Valley of the Damned, which is another name for the Willamette Valley.
Oh, man. Yes, if you're from Oregon, you'll get that joke.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that, but...
I don't. I love Portland and its environs.
Yeah. Now, did you like this issue?
I don't know.
I was bored. Bored out of my gourd. If you're going to have a martial arts hero, don't just give me a stock martial arts story that I could see in any martial arts movie. If it's a comic book, let's have a martial arts hero fighting Doctor Octopus, something like that you would see in a comic. I mean, you can do anything with this medium, and you're just going to have the standard kung fu stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes to the mystic land of Kunlun, and that's where he's trained. That's the only
Oh,
comic
and
booky
this is
thing about it.
super complicated story here. There's
Yeah,
about 4 stories going on in the back
a
forth.
lot of
And it's like,
subplots, and I'm like,
oh,
this is 2 issues in. I mean, granted, he had his debut in
oh
Marvel
man.
Premiere for like several issues, but
Yeah.
still.
And kung fu movies are fun because they're very kinetic. It's not so great in comic books,
Yeah,
where you just see the foot and the
yeah,
action lines,
yeah,
but that's, I mean, I love Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan
yeah.
and Sammo Hung, and they're wonderful. But one thing I do like the lighter hearted kung fu when they're talking about the kung fu religion. It
Uh
kind
huh.
of gets deadly dull, and so,
Sure.
oh man, so
Yeah.
and there's a lot of that mysticism in here, and
Yeah.
oh, but oh,
No,
what's his face?
Danny Rand, Iron Fist. I do like him, and I don't want to bag on the character because I think he's cool, but
Oh,
I love him when he's teamed up with Luke Cage.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I enjoyed that too.
It's funny. I think they were gonna cancel both of those books and decide to put them together
Hmm.
and create a team, and then that book ran for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
So he's getting his butt kicked by 100 guys. So he's almost got it, but one of the guys with no hair and no shirt comes up behind him and smacks him on the head.
uh-huh.
And here comes a blonde, and she kicks some butt. And then her boyfriend, who taught her against, I don't know, it's against ape law to teach women how to fight.
It's against ape law for a human to say no to an ape.
Yeah.
Right. I remember.
Oh, yeah. So, and his girlfriend's captured, and this other plot thing, and this evil god, what's his name? Master somebody. Oh, goodness.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, then he has this minion and he kills. As a minion, would you work for somebody who would kill you if you made a mistake?
I think that's the price you pay of being a minion. Or
Yeah.
that's the price of doing
But
business.
in real life.
I think people get in over their heads. I think a lot of like mob people, they're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna be a made man, or whatever. Because
But you'd be killed if you ratted on somebody. That's pretty easy. But you make a mistake and don't show up.
but
and
here's
all
the
of a sudden-
thing: what if that mistake costs the big boss a lot of money or a lot of business or something like that? Yeah, they're gonna rub you out as an example.
I guess so.
So, oh yeah, I forgot Misty Knight is in this, and she's this foxy black chick with a bionic arm.
Oh, I didn't catch the bionic arm, but I did catch the afro. So
Yeah,
I remember afros. I
yeah,
think they're quite becoming, to tell you the truth.
and she becomes Iron Fist's girlfriend
I noticed that. I said, how did she crush this thing?
because she has a bionic arm.
Well. Oh, okay. They escape from their city into this weird world where there's walking plant people.
Yeah, I was so confused by that.
Oh man! And then they wake up and they're not in there, so they're back at their homestead. So I don't understand. Oh well.
Yeah.
Too smart for me. Sorry.
Yeah. Too smart to keep a readership, I think. Because that book did eventually get canceled, and then Iron Fist became the sidekick of Luke Cage, or partner.
Yeah. Actually, it'd been cool to see Luke Cage in some of those things.
Well, I would love to read that series, and I don't want to bag on kung fu or martial arts comics because I love the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu. That was a cool book, and we'll have more issues of that to talk about at some point too.
Can't wait.
Really?
No,
I thought you liked that book.
I thought it was okay. Yeah. But it still has it. Still
Your
has,
face. Can't wait. I'm like, oh man.
I'm being silly.
I know.
It wasn't my favorite, but it's not another House of Evil suspense mystery.
We won't have any more of
No.
that type of stuff. For a while.
Actually, I'm not going to quit. I will not read this magazine. No, I mean, even the worst of what we read is not that bad, but some of it's kind of.
most of it's really enjoyable, but like I said, I didn't like that Iron Fist. It was work for me to get through that issue. And I was bummed because I was excited to read. I was like, all right, Iron Fist. Because he's a cool character, but man, Claremont is just. He's a jerk, by the way. I met him.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the reputation of John Byrne is that he's a real jerk, and, well, Claremont's no sweetheart either. And, whatever.
Oh, well. To be an artist and put yourself in front of people, you have to have a big ego. And it just, how else can you do it?
Yeah, well, it's like he was at a con appearance, and it's like it seemed like he didn't even want to be there. It's like, why would you bother? I mean, somebody obviously offered him money.
Right. And I would fake it. I don't know. If I got
If you're being
famous,
paid, you're doing a job. Why would you do a job and then be surly with people?
Yeah. If I got famous, I'd take the money and, hey, how's it going? Hey, having a good time. If I'm not,
especially people come up to meet you and they want to appreciate your work and talk to you about it.
What did he say?
Well, it was just his demeanor. But I did ask him about comparing, because, what do people ask him about? Of course, the X-Men, because he worked for so long. People don't ask him about his writing John Carter of Mars or whatever, different things like that, which he did for a while. But I asked him how he would compare his working relationship with Dave Cockrum as opposed to with John Byrne. And these guys were the first two X-Men artists that he worked with. And they were probably the classic period, the most classic period is with those guys with Claremont writing. And, he begrudgingly gave his answer to me, and he, sent me on his way. But it's just like he was so put out just to answer a question, And the people before me had a pile of books that they just plopped in front of him to sign. Didn't talk to him.
Oh,
I was like, I waited in line, judge, and wanted to engage for a minute.
Comic fans, speaking from experience of myself, it can be annoying and all this stuff, and I can see people getting short. And I don't know, it takes someone a lot more patience than most people have to be nice to them. I would be insulted if someone plopped a bunch of comic books so they could meet a sign so they can make a lot of money on eBay.
And that's exactly what people do. And, I mean, especially when you just do that. And a lot of people, this is a terrible con faux pas that many people do, is they do that very thing, is they plop a bunch of books in front of somebody, don't talk to them.
That's not even a faux pas. Faux pas are when you're...
mistakenly do something wrong.
But this is...
I was
it's not evil, but it's a bad thing.
It is bad form, and it is a common occurrence at Comic Cons, and it needs to end.
And what can they do? I mean, you're sitting there, and there's people. What do you say to someone like that? I mean, you're going to be mean, and if you say something, I can't do that. It's man, he's a phony. He won't even sign this. Let's ask him to sign a simple little comic book. Although they're asking to sign 40 or something like that.
Yeah, and that's just ridiculous because that's not a fan. It's like if you want to get somebody to sign one thing that you're going to go and put in a frame or something, that's one thing. But it's obvious. Like,
and if they're nasty about that, then that's something else too.
Yeah.
But
obviously you're taking advantage of the creator who has already given you so much of themselves. But I think a lot of people do that. They're not even fans. They're like, oh, that person's going to be there. Oh, what can I scrounge up of theirs, get it signed, turn around on eBay.
Yeah.
And it's a despicable practice.
And I don't know. I don't buy... If I see a book that's in the bookstore that's signed, okay, I'll buy this. But I wouldn't think of... It's not important to me that I didn't... Signing a book means that you've had interaction with the creator.
Yeah.
And I've got a few books. Tom Wolfe, man, his John Hancock is great.
Tom Wolfe, who wrote Bonfire of the Vanities, right? What else?
From Bauhaus, Arhaus. He wrote the Right Stuff.
The astronaut thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know it was made into a movie.
And he's funny and great.
Cool.
And a few other things that I just found. And if I go somewhere and there's an author signing books, I buy a book, let them sign it. Hey, that's
Yeah, but you wouldn't turn around and try and sell that. That's kind of a
no,
personal memento.
no. If my people who I'm in my will, they want to sell it, that's fine. But that's yeah, to
But
make it to make
but
them
being in
make
the
a money
business of getting autographs to turn around and sell, you're just a
is
vulture.
right, and it's wrong, and people should stop it.
Yeah,
I don't know. You may think you're doing if you're doing this and you're listening to us, you're doing wrong, people.
yeah.
It is you're making everybody look bad. And what is the creator, the author, or the guy you're having sign? What is he supposed to do? Sign them all, or tell you no? And he's in an impossible situation.
Well, right.
It's not, and no wonder people charge for their autographs. I
Yeah.
can't really blame them.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of comic creators don't charge for their autograph. That's the thing. Um, at conventions, it's usually the celebrities, the movie and TV people. Yes, you pay for those autographs. Most creators, unless they're like a legend, don't. And many, or yeah, most don't. Claremont didn't charge anything for his, for example.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
moving on. Let's talk about Magnus Robot Fighter.
I read this years and years ago, and I was really excited about it. It's not as great as I remember, but it's
Oh.
because it's for a lower age.
Yeah.
I'm 52. It really should be. So I'm a little old for this, but it's really a different type of comic book. The cover is
It's painted.
yeah, it looks like a pulp fiction novel.
Yes, it
cover.
does. And that's very typical of Gold Key comics. Almost all of their comic books would have those kinds of covers. This is Magnus Robot Fighter number 22, which reprints the very first issue and origin of Magnus. Um,
It's very DC like.
Can you...
A nice clean, very clean looking. But it's not DC.
Right,
It's a little bit different.
It's Gold Key,
but I'd love the drawing.
Yeah, Russ Manning
Mm-hmm.
was famous for the Tarzan newspaper strip.
Yeah, I like the future world,
Yeah,
and it's got a goofy culture where the robots do everything, and everyone sits around watching robots play football.
yeah. It's interesting. Robots were created, of course, to serve man, but then they ended up basically taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And Magnus is a human who was raised by a robot, A1. And A1 trained Magnus to, like, peak of...
He has steel smashing strength.
yeah. And he knows martial arts, and he's got super strength. And he... to his name, he fights robots.
Right. They use Asimov's 3 laws of robotics here, which is interesting.
And it's common in science fiction to do so.
Yeah. Okay, he meets a redhead who's sassy like
What's her
all
name?
redheads.
Lydia?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she's the daughter of a senator.
Right. Not bad. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I remember liking it a lot more than I did this time. So, but it's awesome. Very well drawn.
Yeah, great art by Russ Manning. I love this story. He's the evil chief of police. Is this robot? And his name is H8
And
Hate.
and he knew that So,
Yeah,
and I'm proud of that. So,
yeah.
There was a Matrix plot here.
Explain.
Using these,
Right. There were people who were rebelling against robots, were captured by the Paul Robs, police robots, and put in this machine where their brain power fed, I don't know, stuff.
Fed a huge computer. So.
Yeah. And they were basically prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
And Magnus infiltrates the police station and fights H8 and rescues these people. And then his rebellion against the human rebellion against robots has begun.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a cool backup story. It's serialized with these characters. It's just a story called The Aliens. Is the series,
Yeah.
and the story is called The Incredible Jewel. And Russ Manning on art again. This is just a really cool science fiction plot.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's weird to kind of come in, at this part, but there's this weird jewel that's alive, and it's telling people, what to do or
Yeah,
something. Oh,
it's pretty neato.
yeah. Okay. All right, and so our last issue for this episode is Magnus Robot Fighter number 15. The lead story is The Weird World of Mogul Badur. Art again by Russ Manning. I wish I knew who wrote these. It's sometimes finding writing credits is tough. But yeah, I thought this was a cool issue.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wonderful car here. It is just so 60-ish and futuristic at the same time.
Yeah, but
Beautiful.
it looks like it's a flying car, but it looks like a car from the 60s minus the wheels.
Right.
Right. So Magnus encounters this robot, Z4,
Mm-hmm.
who takes him and Legia through this like dimensional portal to another world.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
And Z4 is the servant of this guy Mogul Badur, who I don't know. His world. People are basically slugs, except for Mogul Badur, who looks like Ming the Merciless,
So,
or Doctor Fu Manchu.
yeah, I mean, they're huge, fat people, which reminds me of another movie, Wall-E.
I have not seen Wally.
Well, Wall-E, the people don't do anything except sit around and watch TV and eat.
So like now.
Right. But they're huge, and they don't even walk or anything.
Right.
So,
I remember reading a story that Wally Wood illustrated, and I think it's actually from the first issue of Mad Magazine or an early one that was kind of on that same principle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I wonder
maybe it wasn't in Mad. Maybe it was in one of the EC's real science fiction ones, quote unquote, like a serious one.
Well, maybe, yeah. I wonder if they got the idea of the Matrix. Maybe not. It's kind of a.
I feel like maybe this is a fairly common trope in science fiction. It's kind of a fear of the future of what people become, like machinery taking over and people getting lazier. So it's kind of a Luddite.
We got that, and we got the people becoming enslaved by robots.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of interesting. The robots are in these stories are very spindly. So they kind of go extreme. The throne room of
Mogul Badur.
Yeah, is wonderfully illustrated.
He's the only person that's not fat in his world, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and he takes
like life energy from people, right? That's how he stayed immortal. Now you look at Mogul Badur, and I see several panels when I see this character that look like direct swipes from Steve Ditko. And there's a good chance that they were. Because a lot of artists, and this is kind of, not everyone knows this, would create for themselves a morgue of specific kinds of poses or character types for reference for drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would just kind of look at that and draw their panel. And usually those morgues, especially for comic book artists, would be just panels or pages torn from comic books. I think it's fallen out of practice now, but in the gold and silver age, this was a thing that people did. So
interesting.
But the story itself, I'll let you.
Oh, all right. Badur wants Magnus. He wants his life force,
right? Because he's this virile, rugged specimen.
But the girl Legia comes along with him.
Yeah.
And the robot falls in love with her. The robot who led them on.
Yeah, Z4 has emotions, and he falls for Legia. That's right.
Yeah. And that's a common trope, as the white girl goes into a foreign land and is worshipped as a great beauty. And we've seen this in Tarzan.
We've seen King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong. Lots of alien-type movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and so they go through this doorway that is put in solid stone, projected, and makes a doorway. So they run into the doorway, and Badur uh, fools them by going into oh what is this called?
I don't know. It's like a negative zone,
Negative
it's a
zone.
place between worlds. I can't
Pretty well done.
I don't know if that's what they call it, but
Hmm.
I don't think they call it a negative zone.
Yeah, I thought they called it something. Okay.
I don't recall.
Yeah, subspace,
Subspace. Okay.
and it's pretty cool.
And while they're in subspace, Legia and Magnus defeat Mogul Badur, and he loses his connection to like his source of immortality, and he dies. He crumbles into dust,
Hmm.
and they get back to their world, and the
And
end.
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So, but they learn something about this other world, and they're like, man, we can't let humanity get to be like those
Right.
slugs in the other
Mhm.
world. So there's a backup story with the aliens again, and the story is called Defensive Weapon with beautiful Russ Manning art.
Yeah, it is. I like the way the generals look. Pretty cool.
I like the design of these aliens, and their suits are just
Hmm.
really weird. I
Yeah,
thought they were robots when I first saw them in the
I,
previous
I,
story.
I thought so too. I thought, oh, is it not over?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. There. I didn't notice this, but the letter column is called Robot Rostrum.
yeah.
But Magnus is pretty cool. Magnus means the great.
Yeah,
From I think Pompeius or Pompey called himself the Great, and when he was about 21 years old, and the name
as
stuck.
as most 21-year-olds think of themselves.
But he had his moments, so
Yeah.
it was well deserved. Um, that's Yeah, they're nice. The Magnus books are wonderful, and it's I don't they're one they're I wish they were written at a little bit higher level of writing.
Yeah, and I feel like that is the shortcoming of a lot of Gold Key comics. It's almost like they intentionally simplify a lot of things. Although I think Magnus and Doctor Solar are a little bit smarter books,
Yeah.
particularly Solar.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
Although the steel smashing, the way he's able to smash steel is by learning a particular form of kung fu, which I find rather silly.
yeah. I mean, we saw a montage of him like training and like okay, he could get really strong, but strong enough to smash steel without breaking his hands. I don't
Yeah.
know. And now, because I was thinking about this, like, when people say, "Oh, what superpower would you want to have?"
Hmm.
Okay, and when people say super strength, they forget that if you don't have invulnerability to go along with that,
Ah,
yeah, you could lift up a car, but if you tried to smash a brick wall, you'd break your hand.
and the brick wall at the same time.
Yeah,
So, yeah, they should have thought of something. I don't know, a
I think.
laser fist or something besides, and and this is another thing. I guess mid 20th century stuff is these people have these really complex evil schemes, and some guy, the hero, comes in and punches someone out and wins with the good old right hook.
Yeah,
It's I don't know. Yeah, although I mean, if he that would be a wonderful thing to have is super steel feeding thing, but it's because you can get someone can search you, and that's an ability. They cannot find it,
sure.
but it's kind of silly. Right? It should have made him put robot hands on him or something,
Well, here's the thing. Even if he wore metal gloves, that would make more sense.
Right.
Because with that strength and the metal glove, okay, that makes sense that he's able to do that without
Mhm.
hurting his hands. But yeah, that he's doing it with his bare hands and he's not invulnerable.
Mhm.
It's not really like super strength. It's a
Yeah.
bit much.
Mhm.
But I think Magnus is cool regardless.
Yeah. Although I am glad I didn't buy the $70 book of a compilation of it, which I was salivating over.
Yeah, the archives, the hardcovers, they're very expensive. Get them cheaper on Amazon, but now they're coming out in paperback, trade paperback, so they're much more affordable.
Cool.
Which I think actually Magnus Volume 2 or something in paperback just came out. So
okay. Next week, Thor is coming out.
Oh, Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Will that come out before we record the next episode?
I will see it before we record the next episode.
I guess I better see it then too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, doesn't it come out Thursday at midnight?
I thought it come out the 7th.
Well, what? I don't know what.
Today's the 2nd, isn't it?
Today's the 3rd.
3rd. So yeah.
So yeah, it is going to come out this week. So I'll probably go see it Friday or Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll try to.
Yeah, it means I got to stay off Facebook until I see it. I don't want anybody to spoil it. But
staying off Facebook is a good idea anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the Thor: The Dark World, that'll be a good thing that we can talk about next week. And next week will be the beginning of our 5-week survey of Justice League and the Justice Society.
Which I have not read either one, so...
Well, it'll be good.
Yeah, it will be.
It
better be.
It will be. So what did we learn this week, Jeff?
Robots bad. Did we learn anything? I don't know. The Nisai camps are bad, and Nazis are bad still, and nothing has changed, has it, in the world?
Well, okay. On that note, I guess we'll sign off.
All right.